Right, shall we do this? I think we shall. Hello, folks, of course. 9 o'clock UK time, Sunday night. It can mean only one thing. It is time for the Sunday Nighter. You can tell Mel's had his coffee, can't you? Hello. I see the chat is filling up. Yeah, I see our Jace is hovering around somewhere because I see an admin message, so he's around. Hello, buddy. Oh, have we had a good week? Look at Mel still sorting his desk out. It's like he was only in the kitchen having a brew a moment ago. And we have got the gang in tonight. Who've we got? Let's have a nose. If you're here, shout up in the comments. Redleg, Martin the Warrior, Andrew, Tam, Joanne, Tim, Matt, Striking Hand, Gnome, Dan, Bleed, Jimmy, Torres, Franklin, Pagan, Insane, Bill, Bleed, Patrick. And that's everyone now. Now it'll go crazy. And of course, there's our Jace. Oh. Right, what have we been up to? Have we been having a good time? Enjoying the High Peak Pass stuff? You've got one more video on that coming this week, yeah. Tuesday's video, I think it is. Yeah, it's Tuesday's video. Is the final Deep Snow, and then we are all done with High Peak Pass. And then I've got something a little bit demonic for you. Yeah, for a couple of episodes. Before we get stuck into, we've got Burma build back, prepping for the lava build, and I'm getting old. Yeah, I see. Right, Gary, Makunda, Don, Jim. See, you can always tell there's lag with these sort of things. Striking Hand is stripping. It's a good way to make a living, I suppose, if you've got the body for it. I haven't. I had to give it up a long time ago. Right, this is a question and answer show. So, I have opened the Google Doc. We've already got one question. Once we get up to a few, in about 10-15 minutes, we'll get kicked into those. But if you've got a terrain question for me, get it down below in the links, in the comment. Phone's buzzing, Ed's is buzzing. Right. In the description, you'll find links. You'll find a link to a Google document. On there, all you need to do, you don't have to be logged in. Just type your screen name. Yeah, type your question, and then it'll go into the pool, and we'll get stuck into that. Yeah. Also, down below are links to, the channel supporters. There's obviously Patreon. $1 a month goes a long way, guys. Yeah, for helping keep the videos going. There's also the PayPal links, either direct via PayPal or direct via Streamlabs, so the walking zombie comes up and we get an oh yeah. And there's also the Amazon wish list if you'd like to treat me to some palm trees or something like that. Yeah, but they're down below as well. But in the meantime, I need your questions, guys. So, the links are down below. Go throw them in, and I'm just going to have a natter with you guys in the comments. Tam's saying she's had a busy day shopping at Selwig show. Was Selwig any good, Tam? Yeah, is it worth me doing a video on it? Are there enough terrain tables that I haven't seen before? Joanne's here for his, he's going for his mandatory Doctor Who episode. I'm quite liking the new Doctor Who. I like my doctors to be quirky, you know, a little bit aloof. Yeah, and this new lass, I like her. Normally, it took me, it probably took me about 6 episodes to warm to the was it Carapaldi? Carapaldi. I keep thinking of Garibaldi off Babylon 5. Yeah, but the old angry guy took me about 6 episodes to get into him, really. And I never really got fully into him. It didn't seem quite right to me. Yeah. But the I must admit, I am liking this new Doctor. Oh, Striking Hands, he's stripping decals from toy cars, that is. Well, if he's stripping decals from toy cars, that must mean Gaslands. No saying, yeah, demon stuff. I started would you like to see a pic? We can do pic things. I'm even going to do it in the editor, because that's dead posh now. Yeah, that way it doesn't look so bad. You'll understand. Right. Let's throw a pic in. Browse. Where is it? Demon Altar. Yeah. Images. Let's get a reasonable image for you, so you can see where I'm going. That one's not bad. Right. Done. And just got to rescale it because it's like huge. I keep meaning to do this before the show. Oh, Gaz! Thank you, buddy, for the biscuit fund. Very much appreciated, Gaz. I do like my Garibaldis. Yeah, and just pull that to about there. That'll do you. You can see it with that. Right. This is what I'm working. Sorry, this is what I'm working. I've got a camera there as well. I get confused. You know me. Right. That's what's coming. Yeah, I'm working on something along those lines. Yeah, it's going to have some interesting resin effects on it. And some portal stuff and waterfalls and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's what's coming. It's going to be a two-parter because it's a bit of... Yeah. A bit of a... What you call it? What's the best way of describing it? It's a bit of a sort of... It's a mixture between... what you call it? A tutorial and a vlog. You know what I mean? I'm also filming it in a different style because a lot of you guys have sort of said you'd like time lapses and you'd like to see me working and that sort of stuff, not just describing what I'm doing and then showing you pics. So I've started shooting time lapses with my DSLR, what you call it, camera that I can just grab, put in the right position, get a bit of time lapse footage. The only problem with it is I need a little monitor for it, and they're about 80 quid. Yeah, that I can mount and I can easily see, because obviously with it being DSLR, there's no viewfinder I can turn around like on my normal cameras. Yeah, it's on the back. So as I'm working, I can't actually see what's in shot. So I have to just like guesstimate it and hope for the best. So I need to sort that. But I do like the way the new it's working. You know what I mean? Looks very Masters of the Universes. Yeah. Do you know what? At some point, I want to do a Castle Grayskull. Right, I missed Tam's comment about Selwig. Mel, a few not nice tables, but good ones you might have seen at other shows. There were no horrible tables. See, this is one of the problem with the shows. Because I do what you call it, Salute, and Salute is where pretty much everyone comes out and brings the best. What it means is when I'm going around the smaller shows, I've often seen the tables and filmed them and that sort of stuff. Yes, I've noticed that myself, Jason. We've done about another 1,000 subs since Sunday. It was a spike because of the giveaway, and if you've not heard of the giveaway, go look at my videos. I'm giving away like £1.5 grand prize pool, and the last chance to get on that is Tuesday. So make sure if you haven't got on that, go check my uploads. Go find the giveaway video. It uploaded on Tuesday, so it's only a couple back. Mel, I know you like wargame shows, but do you ever get up north to the likes of Vapinac Battleground? Would love to meet you if you did. I keep meaning to do them. To be perfectly honest, guys, it's a financial thing. Okay, wargame shows financially, I actually lose sort of money on, and let me explain why. Okay, first off, because of the way the wargames films are filmed and edited, it's a big editing job. It's a lot bigger than my normal videos. I mean, Salute is normally about 2-3 days work. Okay, and then if you factor in travel and traveling, staying over with it being up north and that sort of stuff, it becomes quite expensive, yeah, to actually go and do it. And you've got to remember, yeah, that I sort of generate my revenues from Patreon and I generate from Google Ads. Well, the wargame shows that they're not videos that do massive numbers Google Ad wise, yeah. And also with the Patreon, it's a lot of days for a patron payment, so I have to be picky about which shows I go to, because I've gone to shows in the past and there haven't been, by the time I've done the show and filmed it, I've maybe got 5 minutes worth of footage, which isn't enough for a patron video. So that's the challenge with going to the larger shows. I could do them just as me, but if I want to film and that sort of stuff, it's a big effort. But yeah, I do want to get around. I'm aiming to go to Adepticon next year. I might only have one chance to do it, but that's the plan. It's just difficult because, I mean, you know what life's like nowadays and that sort of stuff. And with Kez just starting work and just getting her experience and that sort of stuff, we have to watch the family budget quite carefully. Right, right, loads of comments. I need to catch up with comments. We've got about 5 questions so far. Yeah, we'll get stuck into those in a minute. Yeah, people are loving the what you call it. Leslie's saying, yeah, you should do Selwig. And I should. So people are saying go down south, go up north. People are liking the skulls. I like that. Can you not cable it to a laptop or a tablet to allow you to view the camera angle? I don't know yet. I'm still figuring it out. You know me, like, this isn't my gig. You know what I mean? So every time I get a new bit of kit, I've got to figure out what I can do with it. Can you do that sort of thing? Can you attach a laptop to a what you call it? Is that doable? Oh, comments are going like crazy. Mr. Morse, very exciting. I'm Mel, I've heard. Horrobot, have I heard of Gaslands? Do you know what? It's getting every show someone asks me, have I heard of Gaslands? No, never heard of it at all. Don't know anything about it. Let's move on. How's the weather, everyone? Reasonably dry, a little bit warm, no breeze. Everyone here tonight should get an extra entry. Strike in hand, I would give everyone on here an extra entry, but that's against the law. Yeah, and since I've got someone who's reporting my videos to various establishments for regulations, yeah, I have to be very careful about the law. Yeah, luckily my videos comply to the law, so now Mel hasn't been issued any massive fines, but I have been reported to the Advertising Standards Agency, and no doubt, yeah, I will be reported to some authority over the giveaway, but I know it's completely compliant, so we're good on that count. The life of a YouTuber. Andrew's in shorts and short sleeves. That's brave. Put a mirror on the wall. No. I suppose you could, couldn't you, with the camera angle? Stay where you are. To a what? Eh? Right, I'm getting lost up. Glue it up with Kez's glue gun. I know you can add a mouse to a phone via a cable. Right, oh my god, here we go. Sniper Joe strikes again. What, someone is reporting your vids? Yeah, it happens, guys, you know what I mean? Of course, guys, of course. For my non-British viewers, coming up to Watch Up Remembrance, so it's tradition to wear the poppy coming up to Remembrance. A Remembrance is Armistice. It's like our Veterans Day. Oh. Outrageous. Why would... Thank goodness for those people. How would we ever manage without them watching our every move? To be perfectly honest, yeah, I have a feeling it's probably what you call it, someone a little bit jealous that I'm getting closer. Well, that I hit the 100k. It's life, isn't it? You know, luckily, like I said, I've always been quite careful. You guys know I'm quite careful about copyright and all that sort of stuff. Well, I'm also quite careful about advertising rules and all these sort of things. So I went on a couple of like free business courses run by my local Chamber of Commerce about the rules. Yeah, and I just made sure that they apply. So none of my product reviews are anywhere close to being an advert and falling under advertising. Yeah, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm okay, you know. On top of that, I don't use any footage in my watch up videos I haven't got permission to use. You know, I don't even use like the fair use excuse. I make sure all my stuff is licensed. And with this competition, I spent about 2 days going through everything. Yeah, every blog, checking. I even rang the council and checked with those to make sure I didn't need a license off the council. If you do a bit of a giveaway or raffles, you can need a license from your local council and stuff like that. It's quite complicated, but I always make sure me boxes are ticked. Yeah, because I can't risk this channel. You know, I've worked too hard on it, and you guys have worked too hard supporting it. Yeah, for me to risk it over not doing the job properly. Oh, right. Connect a computer to a what? You should get your silver button now you hit 100k. I've been looking at this and apparently I'm supposed to get a notification, yeah, with a code in to claim my silver, my silver plaque. But I've also been looking into it and it appears because the silver was instigated when YouTube was relatively new and they never really got rid of it, but now there's quite a lot of channels that do 100,000 subscribers quite quickly. Apparently, yeah, it's a bit of a hit or miss thing, yeah, if you get it. So now I'm in a bit of a quandary because I was planning on leaving a little bit of space on my back wall in the studio for it. Yeah, right up in the corner where my swords and my bits are. Just took it out of the way, but put it up so it's acknowledged, you know what I mean? Yeah, the only thing that takes pride of place on my wall are my clippers, my knife, and my little sign which says Dad's Tool Rack. Yeah, that Willow got me. So that, you know, that's pride of place. But, you know, the plaque was going to go in the corner. Now with not knowing whether I'm going to get it or not, I don't know whether to fill that space with tools, because I could really do with putting more tools on there, to be perfectly honest. Any more details on the Real Castle project? No, unfortunately not. Slow turns, you know what I mean? Slow turns. Because I'm dealing with national bodies, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Things have to go to committee and then be referred and then decided, and committees sit every couple of months and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. What were you asking about connecting to a PC, dude? We were talking about my digital still camera. Right, very quickly, I don't want to make sure I'm missing anyone tonight. So tips down below. I don't believe I'm missing anyone. No, not missing anyone. Right, let's crack on, shall we? So yeah, interesting times. At this rate, when will you get your golden button? Well, it's taken me 5 years to get 100,000. 4 or 5 years. Yeah, to get the other 9, I don't think Mel's going to be around, to be perfectly honest. Or YouTube isn't going to be around. So I don't see myself getting, getting a gold button. It'd be nice to get a silver one. Yeah, but if it doesn't happen, I have got you guys. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a nice acknowledgement, but he says as he looks again to see if there's a notification there, switch that off. Right, how many questions we got in? 7. We can get stuck in now, can't we? 25 years? Or 4 years. Well, 4 years for 100. 4 times 9 is 36. I could still be around then. Right. So remember, subs grow faster the more you have. That's a bit like grey hair, isn't it? You know, you start off with spotting the odd 1, then the odd 2, then there's 4, then there's 8, then there's 16, then there's 36, then there's 32, then there's 64, then 128, then 256. And 512, then 1024, then 2048, and then the next thing you know, it's like, oh my god! What are your thoughts on 3D printers? That's a show in itself, isn't it? That's a show in itself. I don't even want to get into that one. Jace is telling me there's an estimated 100 million wargamers on the planet. Lots more subs to you yet. How many of those are actually interested in making their own terrain yet, though? 100k seems pretty big for a gaming channel. It's pretty... Don't get me wrong, it's pretty damn big. You know, I don't like I don't like rating a quality of a channel by subscriber rate. Yeah, because your subscriber rate is a reflection of a lot of things, but it isn't always a reflection of quality. You can have someone who's an amazing YouTuber and does amazing modelling, who's only just come to YouTube and might only have 5 subscribers. So I don't sort of rate channels purely based on their subscriber rate. And I don't rate myself that way either. Yeah, but it does put me up in like sort of, there's not many channels with more than 100 subscribers. I mean, there's Mini Wargaming, obviously. There's, there's Adam, isn't there? Tabletop Minions. I think there's a couple of 40k channels that are 100k plus. I think Beasts of War are 100k plus, aren't they? I mean, I know in the Railroad side, you've got you got Luke Towan. I think he must be close to 500,000 by now. Striking Hand's only really here for the dancing. You should do an episode of Army Orders Pit for exercise. No. Hello. You brought Dad sweets.
Mine.
Come on, Daddy Tax.
Corbin brought them.
Who gave Corbin his money?
Mum.
Where did Mum get her money from?
The bank.
Whose bank?
Her bank.
Nope. Daddy Tax. Pay your dues. Everyone has to pay their dues. Okay. That's it. Just give me the tube. You keep those. Really? Really? Is that all I'm worth?
Yep.
Who do you think you are? Amazon? Paying a fair share?
I'm just kidding. You only get half of one.
Oh, come on.
Fine, there's only a couple left. You're getting a pink one.
I don't care what colour they are. They're Smarties.
Yeah, but you'll never get smart from eating them.
Actually, Gaz, tonight, you're the only one who's made a tip so far, so yes, your bank. Hey, buddy, how you doing, bud? You been a Viking? Luke Towin has 573,000. That's a hell of a number, isn't it? No. Quite refreshing as well, you know. One of the things about not just Luke Towin's number, but also this 100k of mine. I really like it because it means there's 100,000 people in the world who are interested in making terrain. I mean, they've got to be interested in making terrain to subscribe to me. Do you know what I mean? You've really got to be into your terrain if you want to make it through my videos. Yeah.
Really like me.
What's that then?
Everyone's just subscribing because I'm better than you.
Jace is saying Lux is so high because he gets exposure from Laddable on Facebook. Yeah, I do know Laddable like his videos and you know. I'll have you know, Striking Hand, that Daddy Tax is a well established in English common law. I've known about it ever since I was a child.
No, it isn't. You just created it to get sweets off us.
It's in the law. It was written into the Magna Carta.
Don't lie. You just use it to get sweets off us. And don't say Daddy Tax for milk either, or else I'll pour it on your head.
You're not going to pour it on my head, but I'm not going to Daddy Tax your milk. Although I do need a brew. Your mum's in bed. Do you want to run the show for me for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Right, guys. Jace, can you watch the comments for me, please? Yeah, I'm just going to brew up. We've got 7 questions in so far, so I need a few more. No, they're terrain questions. I'll answer the questions. I'm going to hand you over to Willow now.
Okay, who's been cutting my anime rubber?
Go on, sit yourself down.
What do I need to talk about?
What do you need to talk about? What you really need to talk about, yeah, is you need to find out off these guys, yeah, what you think, yeah, what they think your dad should build as a feature build. Okay?
Okay.
Go on, give it a go. I'll put kettle on. I'm only there. I'm only at this doorway. Right,
if
go on.
anyone swears, can I shout you?
Look, Jace is in the comments. He'll handle any comments like that. What I want you to do, yeah? Do me a favour.
Yeah.
Just read from the comments at the top of the page, not the bottom ones, okay?
Why?
Because anything that comes up at the bottom, Jace sees first. And if anyone types anything naughty, he'll remove it before you get a chance to see it. Okay?
Oh, okay. Oh, no.
with the amount of times you crash onto my show.
Yeah, but now I'm putting the actual spotlight.
Right, go on then, get onto the comments. See, it's Willow's time, they're all talking to you. Evening, Willow. Right,
Hello.
so, go on, ask them what I should build next.
What should Dad build next? I hope it's a pumpkin on his head.
What do you think about Halloween builds, Wills?
Yes!
What sort of Halloween builds would you like Dad to do?
I want you to make a pumpkin land with witches flying around. You got a donation of £2.
Oh, nice one. You keep that going. You're good for that.
What's your favourite one of Dad's projects? I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Joanne, it's probably the snowy castle that he's put in the studio for the open day. And palm trees. I'm not sending you Smarties. Wait, did somebody else donate without me knowing? We do have palm trees now. Wait, is this the right camera? No. Palm trees. Focus. We have palm trees now. It was last week, Mitchell. Oh, I just realized. Dad!
Yeah?
Someone sent us money on PayPal.
Someone said, alright, I better check that then. Okie dokie. No, that was already there.
Oh. But then, you said that Alan something donated.
Yeah, it's gone up. Another couple of quid. Thank you, dude. I didn't watch a Gaz. Thanks, guys.
Granny, if I'm on my dad's phone, not mine. I've lost mine.
Right, slide out.
No.
Wills, come on, I'm live.
No. Can I at least sit on your knee?
You can for a little while. Come on, jump on.
Yeah.
You're getting too big for this girl. Did you know this girl, yeah? This girl's rather strong. Okay, you're not fat, don't be silly. Yeah, this girl's rather strong. She can literally pick her mum up and cradle her in her arms. And me. It's quite unnerving to be picked up and carried around by your daughter, isn't it?
You should probably be scared and talk to a doctor about that.
You're just going to be Superwoman when you grow up. Right, I've got 7 questions.
Flipping people out the window like, yeet.
Right, we've got 7 questions so far. We've had 2 tips so far. Yeah, so...
Because I keep racking up the tips.
You do keep wrapping up the tips?
Wait, what?
Tips?
Wait.
Young lady, calm down.
You definitely said that.
I didn't. Okay, I think you've got the giggles, young miss. Right, come on. Hey.
What?
Good night, God bless.
What? I'm carrying on.
Willow.
What?
Good night, God bless. Love you.
Wait, did you steal my Smarties then?
No, I haven't stolen your Smarties. I've raided your brother's celebrations.
Oh, okay.
Where,
Wait, for his teacher.
Right, where are you going?
Get me Smarties.
Oh. It's Sunday night, UK time, isn't it? It's the Sunday nighter. We wouldn't have a Sunday nighter without the kids crashing it.
Kid.
I haven't won the comp yet. No, you haven't. And it's drawn by random. Love you, darling.
Can I enter?
Technically, yes.
How do you enter?
I'm not telling you.
Wait, I already know how to enter.
I did not. Right, good night, God bless.
I'm ready for you to be sending that to me.
No way you're getting it. Right. It's nice to have strong women lifting tables from displays. I'll tell you what, it's something. Willow's always done it, yeah, and it's this thing where she likes coming up to like. And when she was little, she used to grab you around the legs and try and lift you up. And she's done it that much as she's growing up that she's actually strong enough that she can grab you and, you know, she can lift you off the ground by your legs and carry you around. It's the scariest thing you can imagine. Chocolates for the brew, heathen. There's nothing wrong with chocolates for the brew, Gary. We wouldn't have a Sunday nighter without a Sunday. We certainly wouldn't, Dan. Right, I'm going to get stuck into some questions now. Yeah, so if you do have a question, links down below to the Google Doc to submit it. Yeah, also links for the tips and the WhatsApp PayPals and all that sort of stuff down below as well. If you do appreciate the show, guys, I appreciate the support. Right. I'm pretty sure she won't be able to lift me, buddy. I'm pretty sure too, guys. Who's random? Dan is. Right. Let's get stuck into the... Okay, first question is from Big Goblin. What material would be cheap and easy for making some hills? Right. Obviously, all of this is actually covered in the hills playlist. There's tutorials for pretty much all of these techniques. You've got a couple of basic options. You've got polystyrene sheets. You know, the expanded polystyrene sheets. They're really easy to work with, shape, all that sort of stuff. On top of that, you've got expanding foam in a can if you can't get the insulation sheets. Yeah, and you can make hills and stuff out of that. There's a video for that one. And then on top of that, you can also use, and this is more of a railroad technique, but it works well. You can make plaster bandage hills, and what you do with those is you get newspaper and you roll it up into balls and basically tape it all down in the rough shape of the hill you want. And then you just get plaster bandage, wet it, and just lay it over. Common brand of plaster bandage is called Mod Rock, and it's about £1 for a roll of it. And I'd probably say out of a roll, you're probably going to get 4 or 5 hills, small hills, maybe more, to be truthful, made out of it. So yeah, they're my 3 really simple ways for making hills. I should do a let's make on them at some point. Just nail all 3 in one go. Just so I've got a nice easy tutorial to point to in these situations. But basically, expanded packing polystyrene, yeah. Expanding foam out of a can, insulation foam out of a can, or rolled up newspaper and plaster bandage, mate. You can even use packing peanuts. Yeah, I like that idea. Be a bit messy sticking. What would you do? Make a what would you do there? Would you make a packing peanut paste? You know, throw it in with some filler and some PVA and a bit of paint to make like a glob of it. Sort of use the packing peanuts as essentially a filler item. I'm pretty sure we all missed the streams where we watch you make part trees. Part trees? You mean palm trees? You're never too far away from palm trees, are you? I would like to see you make a World War II British airfield. Wouldn't that just be a big field? Just be sure to leave places for troops to stand on them hills. Yeah, that's a very valid point. Quite a good tip with the plaster bandage one is to use corrugated cardboard. Yeah, and as you're making your, as you're making your rolled up balls and all that sort of stuff, and you're making your shape, yeah, just tape flat bits of cardboard in certain places. And then when you lay your plaster bandage over, you'll have natural plateaus for your troops to stand on. Papier-mâché? Yeah, you could cover it with papier-mâché. The one problem with covering it with papier-mâché over plaster bandage is whenever I've used papier-mâché for hills and stuff like that, I've had a lot of problems with it warping because of the shrinkage of the papier-mâché. For those of you, papier-mâché is basically strips of paper dipped in watered down PVA. Now, you could always do the airfield in 6mm, 1/300 scale. You could, in which case it would be a very large field and then some little sort of dark bits in one corner. An airfield for the big Burma build would be sweet. Oh, we could do White City or Charangay, was it? Both of those were airfields. But yeah, on the hills question, Big Goblin, yeah, those are your three main options. And also packing peanuts. Yeah, you can have some fun with those. Right. Oh, it's from Gazby. You never know when the question is from Gazby, if it's going to be serious or taking the mick. But let's give it a go. You've built quite a few scenes and tables. What have you found is the best method of transporting them to and from shows? Generally, I've got to the stage now where I follow what Foreground do. Yeah, Foreground build specific boxes for their terrain to fit in. And that's the way I'm going. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, crating it up and making my own crates. I think the reason being is because for me taking terrain, my terrain is a high value item. And I'm not talking monetary, it's like I don't want to break it. Yeah, so I mean, some of the ways I've transported tables in the past, it's shocking. I mean, when I did the one for Sega for Creative Assemblies for the Total War Warhammer game, yeah, I built this huge castle. Then I jerry-rigged and made my own cardboard box for it. Yeah, this is the night before I've got to take it down. Yeah, packed it all up the night before. And when, I had to get up at something like 5 o'clock in the morning to drive down to where they were. Yeah, which is well down south, in time for this big open day for them. And as I was carrying it out of the house and to the car, I tripped over the step and I went flying, and it went flying in the box. And I didn't even take it out of the box. I can remember thinking, there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm just going to have to put it in the box and we'll see how it is when I get there. And I can remember taking it out of the box there and it was like, it's safe. Thank God for that. Lax is asking, what was the first piece of terrain you ever built? I made lots of terrain for toy soldiers and stuff like that, but my first piece of wargaming terrain was a plaster bandage hill. It was a plaster bandage hill over, over expanded polystyrene foam. And I painted it with the same, green paint that my mum had got me for my, for my gaming board. Which was goblin green. Except it was gloss. No flock. No other colours. Just deep goblin green gloss. And I didn't really know how many sheets of plaster bandage you were supposed to use, so I think I put about 8 layers of plaster bandage on this thing, and it was that tough at the end when I'd finished it. And I think at the time it was about 15. Yeah, it was that tough when I'd finished it. I could use it as a step to stand on to reach my top shelf where I kept all my wargaming stuff. Yeah, Gary Adams is saying, it's high value in respect of the time you have spent building it. Yeah, exactly. It's high value to me. Yay, Goblin's green. Oh, so yeah. Crating up terrain, to be perfectly honest. A lot of the things that I do, one of the things that I did with things like High Peak Pass, because I know that's going to Foreground, and I know the way they crate their terrain. Yeah, if you look at the photos on that and you look at the photos with the towers off, yeah, what you'll notice is the height of the mountains lines up with the top roof of the tower. Yeah, before the main body goes on, and all the other towers, yeah, with the roofs off, but the tower top bits on, are all under a certain line. And basically, it was restricting the height of the board to a maximum of 10 inches. Yeah, so although it looks really big when the bits are added on, yeah, for packing, it's actually quite low profile, as low profile as I could make it. So when I'm building terrain, and I know that it's got to be shipped or it's going to be going to and from shows, that's one of the factors that I factor in, because something occurred to me, and it was the guys at Foreground that sort of pointed it out with my big Frostgrave build. Yeah, with the really big mountain that I did. It's really impressive, but it takes up a lot of room to transport to shows. And if you're going to shows with terrain and stock to sell, you don't want your van full of terrain, yeah, because it's big and unruly. Yeah, you really want it full of stock. So when I'm doing stuff for companies now, I'm getting more conscious of making it more functional for shipping. Yeah, so it's not a huge... It's not a space waste. Do you know what I mean? Made in back garden from mud, rocks and tuft. Striking hands, old school. How about making spooky graveyards and corner castle fields? Why do you get the feeling that there's either a massive lag or people are just, yeah, well, this is what we want you make, Mel. Either that or you've just gone off on your own tangent and I'm not really here anymore. I'm up for spooky graveyard terrain. I was going to do the graveyard. I decided I'd do a skull altar instead. I thought it'd be cooler. And then I got a nice skull. Right. So, hope that answers your question, Gaz. Right, clay. I'm thinking about building a diorama that uses forced perspective. Do you think it would work? Have you ever seen or built one? I haven't built one myself. I've seen a few good ones done, and I've seen some good art pieces with mixing with the artists and that sort of stuff. With it being at Spodeworks, I've seen some really good examples of forced perspective work. If you're going to do a forced perspective piece, then what you need to do is from a terrain. Right, okay, forced perspective. I need to explain what that is for everyone who doesn't understand. Yeah, otherwise this is just rambling. Forced perspective is that situation where you give the impression of a much longer scene, yeah, when you look at it from a specific point. So you know when you look at something, when you're looking at one of those pictures or something, and when you move around and when you get a certain position, it all lines up and it all becomes 3D, and it appears to be greater and deeper than perhaps a 2D image, or perhaps, you know, how deep it actually is. That's forced perspective. Now, if you're doing it with terrain, yeah. Sorry, I'm checking Jace's comment then. The chat is about a minute behind, apparently. Right, okay. Right, anyway, when you're doing it with terrain, you get this situation where what you need to do is you need to frame the shot. Yeah, because terrain is 3D, it's quite possible they could look at it in lots of different ways and not see the forced perspective. So what I'd do is I'd frame the perspective shot. So if you want them to look straight from the front straight down, either frame it with mountains, with trees, with buildings, but give them two things that they need to look through, because that guides them to the rough area. And once people sort of say, oh, it's one of those, they'll adjust it themselves to make sure they get, oh yeah, I can see it now. Yeah. The other thing with forced perspective is plan it. Yeah. Plan it, and then when you've planned it, make a mock-up out of corrugated cardboard and make sure that your plan works, because forced perspective works on the principle that everything in it is right. If one thing is out, yeah, not only will it not look right, it will feel wrong. And that's worse than not getting it right. You know what I mean? It's that situation where, you know, you do the water effects on a waterfall and you have water, you know, doing things that physics wouldn't do. And then when you look at it, it really doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. Yeah, so if you're doing a forced perspective, frame it. Yeah, doesn't matter what with, but guide their vision where you want them to look. Okay, and then secondly, yeah, plan it out and then mock it out with corrugated cardboard just to make sure it works. And Jace is doing the push for the tips. Listen, guys, if you do appreciate this information, that sort of stuff, I do appreciate the support. As Jace says, you know, it's not just it's not just a bit of fun. This is, you know, it's a living. So it's welcome, guys. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay, Clay. I hope that answers your forced perspective one. Right, question 4 of 11. Gnome is asking, what is a good way to make a lava flow effect? Now, I have got a tutorial on this, Gnome, and it is in the water playlist. Yeah, water. It's technically the water, snow, and soon-to-be lava playlist. But there's, on the Blackfire Pass build I did for Creative Assemblies, they had lava coming down. And I used hot glue to simulate the lava. Okay, that's a good way. I've seen it done well with plaster pours, but if you're not in too much of a rush, my next feature build, my next 2x2 feature build is going to be a lava board. Yeah, I'm doing a sci-fi board. Yeah, and so that's what you call it. I'll be covering quite a few lava things on that. So if you're not in a massive rush, hold off. If you are in a massive rush, hot glue does work really well, and there is a tutorial in the water playlist. By the water playlist, there's, if you look through my playlist, you'll find a collection of playlists called Terrain Techniques. One of them is all like foliage and trees and hedges and plants. Another one is rocks, cliffs and hills. Another one is buildings and ruins, and the other one is water, snow, and soon to be lava. Yeah, so you'll find the relevant technique in the relevant playlist, buddy. Whoa, I just got my first terrain commission. Thanks for the tutelage. Oh, John, well done. See, I love stuff like that. Yeah. You know, not only are people making terrain, they're making, you know, they're making car. I love that. I can show you the kit I'll be using to make the sci-fi board, actually. Bang. There you are. I hit up the Ronnie. And so, I've got all that stuff. It's not going to focus, is it? Of course it isn't. Now that stuff's called Terrain Crate. It's not going to focus because I've put this damn thing on manual focus, haven't I? So it doesn't keep focusing in and out while we're chatting. Silly Billy. Right. So, lava effects coming to the channel soon, but if you need a tutorial on that, we'll get on that. But yeah, on the quick recap of the sci-fi board, I want to do a lava sort of extraction facility. I think we've come up with the term we came up with. I did have a book. Is it over there? Just give me 2 secs. Oh, my old knees. No, 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 no. That's gone. I went to the train station and there it was. Gone. Oh. Right. Terrain Crate has some great stuff. Yeah, for those who don't, that fuzzy picture, it's the stuff's called Terrain Crate. Okay, and it's the old Dead Zone stuff, but they've had a lot of it. Mantic's added a lot to it since I last played with it. I mean, I first played with the Battlezone stuff probably, what, 4 years ago? When we did that charity build for Help for Heroes, and I think we raised about $1,000. God, I wonder what I'd raise on a charity build now. So, what shall it? Yeah, people are talking about Terrain Crate. Yeah, it's some interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into it, to be truthful. Sounds like something from Star Wars. To be truthful, the build itself, I'm keeping it pretty sort of generic game system wise. Yeah, because I don't need to pin it down to a game system to show you the techniques. So I'm not going to say it's for Legion or it's for 40k or it's for Dead Zone. I'm just going to build it. But it's a setting, you know, that sort of industrial lava. It's a very, what you call it? It's a very sci-fi setting anyway, isn't it? So Gnome, that's how I do lava effects. If you really want to know how to do really good lava effects, stick with the channel, mate. It'll be coming soon. If you're really desperate, I'd jump on Patreon because you'll probably see it first there before you'll see it anywhere else. Andrew's asking, when do you use Daz Clay and when and why? Daz Clay, I use quite a bit of it, to be truthful. It's a substructure clay for me, so I like to use it to like put down when I want to adjust the earth, when I'm doing foam builds and stuff like that. So if I want to build up a bit of an earth embankment or, you know, the substructure for deep snow, I'll lay Daz Clay down then. That's when I mainly use it. For tips and that sort of stuff on using Daz Clay, if you go check the Back to Basics playlist, yeah, there's a dedicated video on all the things I use Daz Clay for and all the techniques and all my tips for using it in there. I think it's tips for air drying clay. You'll see the video if you just check that playlist, mate. But I do use it a lot. It is good. And like I say, it's mainly substructure work. Unless I'm sort of doing details such as roads or thatching and that sort of stuff. Right, question 6 of 11. Right, Rob's asking, how does the green stuff textured rollers work on blue foam? Good results or stick with the clay? If you go into my product playlist, there's actually, you can see the results of it working on blue foam because I've got I test them out on some blue foam. So if you really want to have a look, go and have a look at that video, mate. Do you know what? It's getting really nice. You know, as this show goes on and that sort of stuff, and people are asking questions, it's nice that I'm getting to the stage now where I've already got videos where it's like, look, all the information you need, I've got it for you, bud. Oh, we've covered that one. I'm here to help, dude. Yeah, and it's like pretty much every question tonight is like, have a look at this playlist, have a look at this, have a look at that, answered that. I'm gonna put my smug mode on. It's coming together. You know, I started off with this little mission to make this terrain library and, you know, help out the community, and it's really coming together. But yeah, you get good results with clay, you get good results on acrylic filler with them. Yeah, it does work on blue foam. The problem I find with blue foam is that it's the edges of the roller on the blue foam. Yeah, because the edges aren't recessed. They're sort of surface level, if you know what I mean. Yeah, as you push down to get the imprint, yeah, you also get, it takes quite a bit of pressure to force down those edge bits onto the foam. And that's probably the most challenging thing of it all. Storage, what? We talking storage? You should see my storage. You've got a good old library of vids. Got any good recipes? Yeah, for terrain gloop. Got loads of recipes for all sorts of things. What colour of ocean do you want? Do you want Atlantic, Mediterranean or Pacific? I can give you a recipe for that as well. Hey Mal, love your tutorials. Got myself some snowflock to try out on the techniques from the High Peak Pass videos. Thanks and keep building, bro. Nice one, Damien. Dude, don't do anything until after Tuesday. Final snow video is out on Tuesday, mate. Yeah, and that's actually laying the snow down, the deep snow. So you may have the flock and you may want to rush forward, dude, and I thoroughly encourage you. But, yeah, hold off until Tuesday with the last video. Right, I'm going to very quickly check if anyone's done any direct PayPal, so I'm not missing anyone. Because direct PayPals, I don't get a notification on screen. What do you mean password? Give me thumb thing. Anyone? Anyone? Doesn't look like it. No, it's just you guys. Just Harry and Gaz. Right, crack on then. Right, Galactac. How do I make realistic looking weathering on wood so it looks old and dried out? Right, old and dried out wood. The trick here is grey. Yeah, there's lots of staining things you can do with washes and the inks and oils. But for that really sort of sun-bleached look, okay, grey is the trick. Because that's what wood looks like when it's been sun-bleached. Really old sort of cut, you know, wooden fences and wooden buildings. You see a lot of it round Spode because there's a lot of old buildings and sort of add-ons to buildings where they've just built, you know, there was a set of stairs and they've just built like a roof and partitioned off around it. Yeah, but I mean, some of those bits go back 100 years. You know, I'll have to get you some photos. But dry brushing it with a grey. Now, once again, if you go down to the Let's Make playlist and have a look at wooden fences, I actually demonstrate it in, I don't think it's the countryside fences. I think it's the modern urban fences video. Yeah, but if you go down into the Let's Make playlist, scroll along until you see some fences. Yeah, you'll see that technique demonstrated there. And just couple of different, like, dry brushing over and stippling with a few different greys. It ages it so well, so simply. I mean, other than that, yeah, you've got things like oil washes. I know Bill in Iowa has been messing around a lot with that. Dave has as well. Yeah, I like standard acrylic washes. Oil's really good. It's just the amount of time it takes for the oil to fully cure doesn't fit in with my sort of filming schedule, because I have to be sort of like, terrain products have to keep moving for me. Yeah, because I have to film this bit, film this bit, film this bit, because I need to make videos, because I need to get them on Patreon and, you know, make a living, that sort of thing. Yeah, and so I tend to avoid techniques that take too long to dry. Yeah, unless it's a really big project that I know, right, I can put that up for 4 or 5 days and let that fully dry off before I do the next stage. Right, so question 7 of 14. Right, so I hope that helps you, Galact. Yeah, remember, Let's Make playlist, you'll find what you're answering for in there. And that's another question. Yeah, that I've already done. I've got a video for you guys. But Bill, ferocious acetate for aged wood. Ah, right, Bill, ferocious acetate for aged wood, white vinegar and steel wool solution. Check YouTube for videos. Nice one, Bill. Right, I'm just going to have a very quick chocolate. Just watched a good video on the Peasant Revolt. Are you located in Sussex area? No. I'm in Staffordshire. Galax sent me a smiley, so I'm assuming that information helped him. Right, got a question from Kyle now. I'm going to be using spackle for the first time texturing. Spackle filler. Or, what is it? Wall compound. Is it? Is there a way I can colour it so it looks more like dirt mud? If you're stippling, yeah, to get the texture, then I wouldn't recommend it, because adding paint in, sort of it changes the consistency, and the stippling doesn't work as well. Okay, if you're just laying it down and spreading it out, then sure, add paint. Yeah, just add Don't go more than sort of 10%, but add a nice dark brown to it. And you can also remember you can throw in a bit of grit, a bit of sand as well, and make more of a texture paste. Yeah, so reading across two questions. Yeah, so with the spackle, yeah, you can texture it, you can add paint to it, but if you want a stipple to get a texture, you don't really want to be messing with the consistency, mate. So if you're laying it down, throw some nice dark brown in there, a little bit of black to really darken it up, because the spackle tends to lighten it with it being a white chalk product. Yeah, and then I'd even throw a bit of grit in there. Yeah, just to give it a bit of a texture, and just lay it down as a textured paste. A bit of a terrain gloop. But if you are stippling with it, just go with the spackle. Don't add anything to it. And then paint over it afterwards. Right, Jimmy's asking, have you ever thought about doing your own range of terrain products? Approved by the terrain tutor, has a certain ring to it. No. Well, I've thought about it and I've discounted it. The reason being is because I want to spend my time doing what I'm trying to do here, which is help the community, you know, and build this sort of terrain library. You know, that's what I came to YouTube to do. That's what I've been doing for the past 5 years, and that's what helps people. I don't want to become a shopkeeper. I don't want to come in and say, right, the next 3 days I'm mixing flocks. Yeah, also, a bit of me doesn't want people to rely on me that way. Yeah, so for example, I use Jarvis Scenics. Okay, now one of the reasons that I use Jarvis Scenics is because the company's been going 50 years. Yeah, and they still sell every blend of flock they've ever come up with. Okay, now I think they've got about 100 different blends now for different scenes, and this goes back, I was talking to the guy who ran it, yeah, because I've been organising the competition, and it goes back, his mum and dad set up the business, you know what I mean? His dad died this year, but his mum and dad set up the business 50 years, and they've always made it that you can always get your hands on the same flock. So if you made a railway set up 40 years ago, and you need to patch it up, you can still get that product. Now the thing is, if I start making my own flocks and stuff like that, any of you guys who jump on and buy it and that sort of stuff, well, let's say I stop doing it and you want to match and continue to match, you know, the scenery you've made with the scenery in the future, or perhaps you're making it for commissions, or perhaps you're doing an army and you can't get the basing material anymore. Yeah, that's me letting you guys down. So it's one of these things that I've always avoided, to be perfectly honest. I'd rather spend my time helping you guys and just pointing you in the direction of where to get your stuff. Can you buy spackle as a powder in the UK? Yeah, you can buy, we call it filler. Yeah, but you can buy it as a powder and mix it up yourself. I have several Jarvis flocks for when I do my model buildings. I like Jarvis. I really do. Don't stop making vids just because your library is building up. Never gonna happen, mate. I've got to myself to a schedule now where I'm looking at doing probably about 5-6 tutorials a month. I mean, it's a lot of work, you know what I mean? But, you know, this is also my living, you know, so you got to crack on with it, haven't you? You know, so I won't be stopping making tutorials. It's what I love doing. Yeah, and, you know, clearly by the fact that me, yeah, managed to get 100,000 subscribers, it's clearly what you guys love me doing as well. Mel, do you back up your videos for worst case when YouTube goes crazy and would lock your account? Yes, I do. All my videos and all my everything, every single video since I've started, yeah, it's all backed up on a drive down there, on a NAS drive, which is getting rather full now, to be truthful. I may need to upgrade. Yeah, but yeah, it is all backed up and that sort of stuff in case something goes crazy. Yeah, I don't think something will go crazy, and luckily from what I've seen, when things do go crazy with channels, if you've got a reasonable amount of support behind you and you can get a decent enough, like, you know, petition going, YouTube seems to reinstate things and put things back. I tend to think that when things, because you hear of these channels getting like knocked out by accident and stuff like that, and YouTube being the entity it is, sometimes, well, unlucky dude, you know what I mean? But if you've got enough of a following and you can create enough of a, look, set it back up, YouTube will generally set it back up. Yeah, and then what you call it, and then take it from there. Jace is doing things. The terrainiacs group on Facebook still has the resources and materials section, doesn't it? It does, Bill. In the terrainiacs group on Facebook, if you look in the group information, the description, the pin post, yeah, you'll find a link to the resources and materials. And basically it's a post where everyone throws links to shops and all sorts of things on there. Bro, are you a father-in-law? Yeah. Yeah, I am. Any off-site backs? No, Jim, no off-site backs. I need to get that sorted at some point, but I think the way I've always figured it is, yeah, they're on YouTube and they're there. Now, something could happen there, but I'd have YouTube. Or something could happen on YouTube and I'd have there. I've got to be damn unlucky for something to happen to YouTube and lose that at the same time. Jonah's saying, well, before I go, would like to thank Mel and the rest of you and all the Facebook group. You're the reason I have such a great time making terrain. Would not have started without you, Mel. Nice one, Jonas. Right. So, right, next question from Andrew. Any manufacturers you would recommend for modular MDF terrain boards? I use ones from Foreground, but they don't sell them, so there's no point, recommending them. I've heard TT Combat do them. I haven't seen them, I haven't played them. Yeah, so I can't really recommend them, but I do know they do them. I was looking at doing my own for a while, not for sale. Oh, itch. Yeah, and just from a Burma board. But I don't know of any other companies that do them. Guys in the comments, yeah, any other people who make terrain boards? I know TT Combat do. I've seen those, I think, on the Bolt Action Forum. Johannes, not Jonas. Well, I'll take it. Sorry, buddy. Mel, any tips for modelling gas seeping from the ground? Would you treat it like a smoke marker? Yeah, very much so, to be truthful. Just do it lighter. Smoke tends to be darker. When you think of gas, it tends to be a very light grey. Almost steamy, if you know what I mean. Normally, because I suppose we don't really see leaking gas. When you see, leaks, quite often it's high pressure steam, isn't it? I didn't say in that the TT Combat ones are quite good. But I don't know of anyone else. No, I can't think of anyone else. Bennett Buildings, terrain for wargaming model railways and dioramas generally. Yeah, Jason likes those guys. Right, next question. Okay, this one's from our Gaz B again. Quite popular him. Yeah, what items are vital for a terrain table med kit? Terrain table med kit. Right. Let's think. You're going to want a selection of You're going to want a selection of flocks and foliages. Yeah, you're going to want a fully charged, fully charged wireless heat gun. You can get them, I think Bosch, I've got a Bosch one, and it's got about 30 minutes charge use on it when it's fully charged. Yeah, so you don't need a power supply on that. You're going to want spray adhesive, yeah, not permanent. You're going to want a repositional spray adhesive. It's a fine misting spray, but if you need to do any flock repairs, yeah, obviously it's instantaneous. I'd include a can of matte varnish, yeah, in a spray, an aerosol spray, because that dries in about 15 minutes. With regards to a med kit for a terrain table, you're looking at things like, right, I need a quick solution. So you don't want anything that's going to take time to dry. Yeah, so also if you think about what the problems are going to be, you're going to want to be looking, it's going to be things like bits of flock falling off, maybe rocks breaking off. So you're going to be looking at fast gluing solutions and fast, patching solutions. So yeah, flocks and foliages. Obviously, I would take replacement bits for any scenic items that you might have. So things like telegraph poles, stuff like that. A couple of replacement trees in case something gets knocked, broken, bent. I would probably take some sort of terrain sludge as well. Make up a bit of a terrain glue that matches your base colour. That if you do have any problems that you've got to deal with the base, rather than, oh my god, I've got to add filler, add grit, then do base colour and wash. No, all I've got to do is slap a bit of glue on it, let it dry, throw a wash over it. So yeah, and off the top of my head, that's probably what I'd go for. Flocks and foliages, replacement materials for the table. Yeah, spray adhesive, spray matte varnish, terrain glue, yeah, and wireless hot glue. Right. Loads of interesting, loads of interesting conversations going on in the comments there. Right, I'm going to move on with my questions. Bill's asking me, any idea when you might be covering terrain for smaller scales? I ran into a couple of guys in the terrainiacs groups making 10mm buildings today. It's coming, guys. It's just such a big list of things to do. I need to do it. I know I need to do it. We'll get round to it. Right, we are on question 11 of 14. We've got 15 minutes left. So if you have got any desperate questions, get them in. I'm going to check the direct PayPals now to see if anyone's tipped us direct. Have I been lucky? Lucky in love? No. Well, of course I'm lucky in love. I got Kez. Lucky in PayPal? No, just my twos. All right then. Right. So, question 12. Adam's saying, where can I find blue foam in the UK? Having trouble finding it. I get mine from a place called Panel Systems. Yeah, Panel Systems Limited. They also run a shop called Craft Foam where you can buy individual sheets. On top of that, if you go onto Amazon, check out Pro Warm Insulation. They're doing sheets of it too. Is the sand from Argos good? If you mean the play sand, then yeah, I've used it in the past. Willow had it for when we had kids. Obviously, when the kids were little, we had, you know, the little plastic things you have in the backyard, you know, half full of water, half full of sand for them. Yeah, and I can remember watching the play sand coming in. It's quite nice, dry, fine sieve sand, to be truthful. So yeah, actually it is. That's a random question for you. What advice would you give for making modular gaming board? Main thing with modular is set a template to make sure that all your edges match a template, okay, to the shape, the colours of the ground, the features, so that as you turn it round and you put it together in places like that, it all goes together, mate. Jim, this is an interesting one. Any tips on not over planning, overthinking designs? I find I'm getting stalled in the design stage. Right. Not generally a problem for me because I don't really do the design stage. I'm more known for underthinking, yeah, and then sort of figuring out as I go. Now that's just the way my mentality works. I'm not very good at planning. The only reason I plan things out is just to make sure things will fit on a board, scale wise and that sort of stuff. The idea in my head, will it fit on a board? Once I've got the rough idea of what I want to do and the key features, will they fit on the board with enough space around them, then generally I just go with the general idea and I work it in my head. I'm more of a visual 3D sort of person when it comes to the planning. I think that the overall thing when it comes to the planning and that sort of stuff is to stop you going over it is how detailed do you want your plans to be, and decide that at the start, okay? And what I mean by that is, well, if you've got to draw something up and you're planning something, when an architect does plans, yeah, they're done in a certain way so builders and people building that house will know what they need to know to build them. Now, architects don't really get carried away. They don't add extra bits to their plans and all that sort of stuff because they have a set, a set sort of what needs to be in that plan. So what you need to do is take the same, yeah, when you sit down and plan a dungeon, say, right, what do I actually need to know from this plan? Is it just a matter of, do I need to know the general sizes of rooms and how many bits of various corridors? Or do I need to know where doors are going to go functionally and that sort of stuff, or to keep it modular, you know? Do I need to factor in depth for cutting in to do resin effects for sewers and that sort of stuff? But above all, if you define what you need to know out of a plan before you start the plan, as soon as you've reached that point, yeah, even if you do overthink it, you don't overplan it, because the plan bit's done. It's met your requirements, yeah, you've got enough information to proceed with the next stage. And like all of us, you can think about it, as you go. But the important thing is, you've stopped planning and you've started building because your plan is complete, because it meets what you needed to know out of the plan at the start. Oh, there's a bit of project management for you. All right. Question 14 of 15, and I'm going to lock down the questions now. So, that's all the questions in. Right, Craig is asking, Mel, just wondering if you still did video reviews. I'm in the process of setting up a business selling my own scenic projects, which should be up and running January next year. Generally, I'm not doing that many reviews. I try and do one every couple of months. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, they don't. Product reviews don't bring in massive, sort of volumes of traffic. They're not massively popular videos. You can't have Google ads on anything that is a product review or an advert. So if it's got a product in and that sort of stuff, you've got to be very careful around your Google ads. Yeah. And then the other side of that is my videos are supported by patrons. Generally, I don't ask them to support product review videos because I'm asking them to pay for another company's advertising. Yeah, which isn't on. The only time that I ask for patron support for product reviews is if it's a complicated product and I'm figuring stuff out with it, not just showcasing it. If it's just showcasing it, then I don't even submit it to Patreon because I don't think it's fair on the patrons to support it. And so generally they're my least popular videos to do. So if I'm going to do it, there's got to be a damn good reason. I mean, I had a guy offering, what you call it, he was offering me a couple of these massive modelling cases for carrying your models around and that sort of stuff in return for a video review, and it's just like, I just turned it down because, what you call it, it wouldn't be a popular video. You know what I mean? Architects do make lots of changes to their plans. It's how their builders make their money. I don't deny they make changes to their plans. What I'm saying is that their plan meets a certain criteria. Yeah, I'm sure. Every plan gets changed. No plan survives first contact with the enemy. Yeah, every plan gets changed. But it's to stop over planning. Decide what you need to know from a plan first, and that was the point I was sort of making it. Yeah, but you got to admit, the foreground tree review was hysterical. It was, wasn't it? Ben nearly had a heart attack when they put that on. He told me, yeah. Basically, the glue that they use for holding the foliage onto the armatures on the foreground trees, I don't know what it is, but it is. I mean, I had to get 2 pairs of pliers to rip it apart. Yeah, I couldn't do it with my hands. Yeah, but I was testing the trees, and to test them, I was whacking them on the table like this, and I almost gave Big Ben at what you call it, foreground, a heart attack. But I'll tell you what, they're good bloody trees. Delaria saying, if you do a review of a project, just let us know right from the get-go of the video. Oh, I do. At the start of every sort of product review, I always put it in context and I make it clear what I've had from the company. You know what I mean? I've never been paid for a video review ever. Yeah, and I've never asked money for a video review. Also, did you know if you do have money for a video review, technically it's an advert and it falls under the Advertising Standards Authority's rulings. But generally, when someone sends me to review, if it's a tool, they'll send me one of that tool so I can actually review it. Yeah, and I get to keep the tool. If it's materials, then generally they'll send me twice as much as you see in the video. Yeah, generally I'll get some to actually have a play with before I do the video, and then I've got some to show you, right, this is what you do with it, and that sort of stuff. But with regards to, you know, that sort of stuff, like I say, I'm always upfront and honest at the start, so you can understand the context of, you know, what I'm saying, and you know what I mean. Yeah, John Talby's saying, agreed, define your acceptance criteria before you start. I suppose that applies to reviews and what you call it, plans. I always think plans are a rough sketch for the final piece. No matter what it is, you work out where everything has got to be. Yeah, Jez, I work on that rough principle. Figure out roughly where things have to be, and then I just let the artist sort of run. You know what I mean? I know. It sounds a little bit silly, doesn't it? A little bit pretentious, but there is that element to it. And dry brushing your stuff applies to other. Yeah, Lisa's just saying that, you know, she's learned a lot of techniques and applied it to a lot of other art. I think the important thing to understand here is that there is a breadth of, I'll call them artistic and modelling techniques, and those terms are interchangeable for a lot of these things. You know, we call it dry brushing. Yeah, Fred calls it scummunching. That's the artistic term for dry brushing. Yeah, it's quite ironic. He was trying to explain this thing to me, this scummunching. Yeah, and he was trying to tell me I should do it on my rocks, and I was like, "You talk about dry brushing? I've done videos on dry brushing. I know what dry brushing is. Just a different term." Yeah. But yeah, there is a lot, and a lot of it transfers over. And I know I've got quite a diverse sort of following, yeah, because a lot of the stuff transfers over. I mean, I found myself watching a lot of the resin artists because the stuff they do with resin transfers over to the water effects that we do. Yeah, and so I've been following a lot of resin artists and that sort of stuff. Same with the light and that sort of stuff with Fred. Right now, Fred's slowly taking me through like advanced colour theory and lighting. Yeah, and that sort of stuff. And it's fine art, but it's also the principles I apply to building High Peak Pass. So there's a lot of stuff that's interchangeable. I remember that video. You definitely voided the warranty on those trees. I don't think it mattered that I did void the warranty. I mean, in times to come, when everything is rendered to dust and ash, those trees will still be around. Bart saying, hello, sorry for my terrible English, but I'm going to do my first terrain model with my kids, year 7 and 9. I made expanding foam already. What do you recommend to buy for the first time? Make sure you get some masks if you're working with expanded foam, mate. Yeah, because obviously with the kids and the dust and that sort of stuff. You want to pick up some grits and some paints and some flocks. Yeah, all I do is go and have a look in the Let's Make playlist, have a look for CD scatter terrain, and look at all the materials I use for basing on that one, okay? And then those are the ones that you're going to want to use on your hills out of expanded foam, buddy. You have principles? Apparently so. Right, last question of the night from Striking Hand. With the Jarvis landscape mats, is it better to seal them with PVA similar to the other terrain flocks? I tend to, when I've done it, I haven't done it in donkey's ages, to be truthful. Yeah, but I tend to, because I supplement them. Yeah, I tend to sprinkle flocks and stuff on top of them as well, so they're not just one colour. If you're wondering what we're talking about, Jarvis do these like wallpaper rolls of flocked paper, and you can cut them out into pieces, glue them down, and blend them in, and you have grass. So basically, it's how to do static grass without having a static grass applicator. But you have to sort of blend it in, and so I like to seal them to hold them down fully, mate. Also, they do shed quite a bit, those. Wargaming art is the same thing. Technically what we do is scenic art. Jez is just saying, the amount of stuff I've learned from Fred's colour theory vids and Mel's teach vids on PVA and paint types and the like has been amazing for other fields. I'm just glad it helps you, guy. Right. So, if I do help you, final shout out for some tips down below. Add to Mel's Sweetie Fund here. If you've enjoyed the show and you've enjoyed the evening, links down below for a tip via PayPal or tip via Streamlabs. In the meantime, we've answered some questions. I've had a good evening. Mel's got his cross-legged sort of like, yeah, I think my bladder's getting tuned to 10:30 on a Sunday night. Like, right, it's 10:30, Mel needs a wee. The reason I ask is that I have some from 20 years ago and they're getting a tad bare. Do you know what? I've got one from, from 15 years ago. It's still rolled up and plastic wrapped. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we're going to call it now, guys. Thank you, Jace, for moderating for me. Our cat is still on her travels. In the meantime, I think I'm going to love you and leave you, guys. Yeah. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope this information has been useful to you. Thank you for for jumping on. Remember, you've got till 7:30 PM UK time to get into the giveaway competition if you haven't already. You'll find that video on my upload, so go to the channel homepage after this video. On top of that, Tuesday you have the final deep snow video coming, and then Thursday it's already in the can and ready for you. It's the major building of the demonic altar temple thing. Yeah, I haven't named the video yet. I've just edited it up. I've just got to render it now and get it uploaded. But I'll figure a name for that when we get there. In the meantime, guys, listen, thanks for your support. Thanks for for staying with me. And I'll see you next Sunday night. In the meantime, all the best, yeah? Ta-da.